Good morning and welcome back everybody to Apaya Puzzles on this beautiful day in Melbourne. Blue skies, 10 a.m. I've got my morning mocha. Yesterday was incessantly raining, which is beautiful but also has its limitations, and I got thoroughly drenched on my way to coffee, but not so this morning. And of course the coffee necessary because we're looking at solving a puzzle today. This from Liam Runnels. Well-known friend of the channel, friend of the cruciverbal world. This is from The Age this week, or today actually. Normally I've been doing the Saturday papers where Liam publishes, but the last few weekends I believe they haven't published any, so I'm jumping over to The Age for today. And I think without any further ado, let's break on in. So we have, make sure you can see everything. Bottom of the screen you'll see the clue that I'm focused on, so let us proceed. 7 across. Communication initially stalled between myself and Herb. So initially stalled will be an S, myself will be me, and we're looking for a word that means communication, so this will be message, and our Herb is sage. So an easy starter, 7 down. About to avoid mitre 10's woolen garments. About to avoid, so mitten, so this is mittens. About is the letters RE, like at the top of an email, and that is being removed. It's avoiding the word mitre, so it just gives you the mit. 10 is TEN, and S is S for mitten, so that's quite a straightforward and kind of literal clue. It's almost like a hidden, or kind of inverted hidden. So we're taking something out of the middle and just using the rest. So 9 across. Oh, 3 lines. Didn't cater to that. So unexpected development starts for this wildly inappropriate suburban tower. So TWIST. So this is twist. Unexpected development is a twist. The starting letters from this wildly inappropriate suburban tower are TWIST. So straightforward opening letter clue, that one. 1 down. Help prune St. Francis's Town treetop. So this will be assist. Assisi will be St. Francis's Town, and that's being pruned, so the final letter is being removed, and then we're adding treetop, which is the top letter of tree, to get assist, which means to help. So 11 across. Consider the possibility of carpenter tainting interior. Consider, brackets, the possibility of carpenter tainting. So this will be entertain. And if you're not seeing how that works, you might think I'm some sort of wizard, but it's one of these, what I like to call easy hard clues, which is a hidden, which is that the word entertain is literally spelt out in the middle of the clue here with ENTERTAIN. So the interior of carpenter tainting is the word entertain, and to consider the possibility. I wonder why he's put that in brackets. That almost feels like an error. It doesn't need to be in brackets. I don't see the relevance of that. And why I call these hard clues is that it's obviously easy from the point of view of the words right there. It's spelt out letter for letter, but you've got to recognize that that's what you're looking at, and sometimes it's not obvious. This one, in some sense, a little more difficult because it's cut over 2 lines, and so you'd have to notice that. But thankfully, I got there pretty quickly. I'm notorious for getting lost on hidden clues. Bloke thanks journalist Martin for big fish. Okay. Manta ray. I was throwing there because I was thinking that the first 2 letters were TA for thanks, tar, but actually the first 3 letters are man for bloke. Then we've got the tar for thanks. Martin is Ray Martin, Australian journalist. For those watching from further afield. And big fish is a manta ray. I wonder actually, interestingly, if a manta ray is actually a fish. If it's not, some people will pick him up on that, I'm sure. 13 across. Although I'm also sure that Liam will have done his research on that. Lingered outside art centre, then wandered off. So this is going to be strayed. And I just got that from the definition, wandered off. So lingered outside, or lingered is strayed. Outside art centre, wandered off is strayed. Lingered is stayed. And in fact, lingered is the opposite of wandering off. And the art centre is the centre letter of art, which is the R. Just a note for those, I guess, whether new or seasoned, the use of art centre, the centre letter of R, on some people's reckoning, that is not fair cryptic ease. The reasoning goes that a cryptic clue should grammatically work, so that art centre doesn't really mean the centre letter of art, whereas centre of art, or art apostrophe S centre, does mean that, and so this would be considered invalid. Seems like a niggle, but actually it's a serious point, and many crossword publishers in the UK won't allow this kind of usage. And you would think that if you're a brilliant setter, it wouldn't really matter. You'd notice it, and you might say it's slightly poor cluing, but you would get there. But I have seen the world's best, and possibly the best ever, cryptic crossword solver in the world on Cracking the Cryptic, a guy called Mark Goodliff, solving an Australian cryptic as it was. It was a DA that I sent years ago to them, and they solved it. And one of the clues included a reference of this kind. It was something like first, and then a word starting with C, and the indication was, it was third something, and the third letter of the word was a C. So you think straightforward. He solved the clue, but he could not figure out. It seemed to have no idea that third and then a word could mean the third letter of that word. It just didn't. Obviously, he's an incredibly talented solver. So it just shows you how embedded these conventions can become in your thinking. So anyway, just a minor point of a minor technicality there. Do we try to tackle the long one? Ooh, let's have a look. 3 down. If we get it, it's going to open up a lot of stuff. C's candidate's unusual illegal request. And this is 536. So the middle letter is going to be and. A legal request. So I think this is cease and desist. Yeah. So I got that really from two things. One, it's thinking with an and in the middle, it's probably not going to be seize as the definition. So then request or legal request made sense. And then just a glance at the candidate letters for an anagram of C's candidates, the candidate letters, it seemed to have the appropriate letters for cease and desist, or a few of them at least, and so that will be what it is. C's candidates are being rearranged unusually to give us cease and desist. Well, it's given us some letters, but nothing unusual, so they might not be that helpful. Let's have a look at 14 down. When I say that, I mean if there'd been a Z or something poking out, that would have given us a good lead on something. So 14, umpire, that's going to be ref, I think, to embrace Cockney and C, return of war victims. Wow. Cockney and. See, Cockney is usually an indicator for dropping the H off the start of a word that has an H on it. So a Cockney wouldn't say hover, they'd say over, for example. This clue is really throwing me. My brain's not thinking straight. I'm going to move on before I waste too much time and embarrass myself. Wasting every second of Slow Friday in European capital. So of Slow Friday. SOFID? No. In European, wasting every second. ATN of Slow Friday. Oh, maybe it's just it is Sophia. I misread that. I was thinking S, so it's every second letter of Slow Friday, but I was looking for that and I was going SO, and then I think I got lost with the F. I thought it was SOFDY or something, but no, SOFI and A for Sophia. Capital, trying to remember where that is, I'm not sure. So that does look like ref, and what I had thought with this was that the ref would go, right, yes, this is just refugee. Now that's a little, or refugees. I should have got that, although I think, to be fair, I was slightly thrown because, well, for one, I was thinking about it a little incorrectly. I was using the word embrace to think ref would be on the outside embracing another word, and that was confusing because I thought the F at the end seems unlikely. In fact, what we're looking for is a Cockney word or another word for embrace, which would be hug, and then pronounced like a Cockney, which would be ugh. So you get the ugh in the middle, and then you get C, which is returning at the ends, going backwards. One small gripe I would have with that clue is that I don't know whether this is a fair one, but I would always feel like the pronunciation of the syllable in the word, so refugee, that huge, is how that embrace Cockney should also be pronounced. So embrace Cockney doesn't equate to huge, it equates to ugh. But I don't think that's valid, actually. I think probably it's fair enough. It feels slightly just stylistically a little skew-iff, but I think maybe technically it's fine. But I think it was part of the array of things that I was thrown by there. So 18 down, spooky chat with Connery, Charlie and Elizabeth. So that's quite nice and quite easy. So spooky chat is a seance. Connery is Sean Connery. Charlie is C in the phonetic alphabet, and Elizabeth is E. You can't just abbreviate any name, but in the case of Elizabeth, that will be reference to the Queen, often referred to as ER. So hence the E is appropriate. 19 down. Artist debut release for family member. Sorry, artist debut is the, I was trying to rearrange the letters of debut. Artist debut is the A, release for family member, so it is auntie. That's a nice one, because I was thrown by the pronunciation there as well. I thought of auntie, but thought auntie is not going to be a word, but of course untie is, and it does mean release. So 24 across. Friend of Fidel gets spray in medicine shop. So this is chemist. Friend of Fidel Castro is Che Guevara, and a mist is a spray, and a medicine shop is a chemist. This looks like it should be very solvable. Some particular gent in Empedrado, okay, starting with an A, Argentine. So Argentine, this is another hidden where the word Argentine is spelt out directly, Argentine in the middle. So some of this expression, and the definition, this is an and lit, so the exclamation mark points to that fact. The whole definition, the whole clue is a definition. A particular gent in Empedrado, which I presume is maybe a city or something related to Argentina, is an Argentine. So nice kind of self-referential hidden. And we've got the entire left-hand side of the grid completed without that many letters to start off on the right-hand side. So 10 across. authorization for faulty gas turbine releasing boron. So this is going to be an anagram of gas turbine, that's faulty, so it's rearranged those letters. Releasing the letter B for boron, which is its abbreviation on the chemical, on the periodic table. So gas turbine, and then we're looking for a word that means authorization. Trying to think of it in my head now. I much prefer doing these on paper. Yeah, I can't think of it. Authorization. Oh, so it's an ing word, I guess. So then you're left with saturing. I can't think of it, so let's come back. 8 across. Passed away consuming French wine, it was foretold. So this is going to be divined, or divined rather. So French wine is vin, V-I-N, and passed away is died. So the French wine is being consumed by the word died to give us foretold, which is divined. 8 down. How an archaeologist with impractical footwear might show stubbornness. This could be hard. 3, 2, 4, 5. Something about dig in something with impractical footwear. Yeah, and this I just realized the authorization is going to be signature. So that confirms dig, and I think it's dig in your heels, or dig in one's heels. Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's one's or yours. It's always a trick with these. I think it's going to be that, but I'm not sure. And the play there is that an archaeologist wearing high heels would dig in their heels. So they're out there digging in their heels, which is also obviously means to be stubborn. So that's very cool. This V here should help us out. That might be a candidate for a clue of the day if I can find a more coherent way of explaining it. 4 down, head to asteroid by way of spinning extraterrestrial pilot. So this will be an AB8. So head to asteroid is A, way is via, spinning extraterrestrial is ET going backwards, and AB8 is to pilot, the verb. So that's a nice little play there. It's a minor point, but pilot in the surface reading of the clue, the word pilot is a noun, and in the final answer we need to treat it as a verb. That's a straightforward one, but there are some that are much more tricky to see. I think the one that I always remember, and it's caused me to fail on I think 2 occasions. It's caught me out, is the word entrance, which can be presented as the word entrance, and in the clue as a noun, and needs to be treated as a verb in the final passing of the clue. Very difficult to see those where the pronunciation varies. So pilot's not so bad, and also in this case, pilot in both senses of the word, noun or verb, is still relating to aviation, whereas with entrance and entrance they're completely different meanings. So 12 across. Right on 75% of exam. Extremely confident. So this is exact. This is also a and lit. So, or is it and lit? No, it's not an and lit. Right means exact. It's almost an and lit. 75% of exam is 3 letters out of the 4 in exam. So that's EXA, and extremely confident is the C and the T, the extreme letters of a confident. Just on that quickly, I'm talking about and lits for those who don't know what that means. And lit is, I think it means and literally, and it just means that the clue in its entirety could be treated as a definition for the final answer. So there's not necessarily a definition element that's separate from the wordplay. It's all wordplay and it's all simultaneously a definition, like that one about the Argentine. 6 down. Arrival of Dave disturbed the top end. So this will be Advent. Dave disturbed is ADVE, just rearranged, and top end is the Northern Territory. Again, for foreigners, that's probably a term that's more known locally. The top end is the top end of Australia and means the Northern Territory, which is NT. So 5 down. Cruel to bury outside a prison base. It feels like inter is often the synonym for bury. A prison base. Prison base might be an N. Crawl or something. So to bury, to Can't think of that right now. I'll come back to that. Let's have a look at this. I don't know that first letter. It's either an N or an O, I think. Present unnamed man with unloaded rifle in unknown location. That's a nice little alliteration. Present or present. So we're looking at, this is an O or an N. Present might be now. So this is going to be, I think, nowhere. Present is now. Unnamed man is he. Unloaded rifle is the word rifle without its center letters, so RE. And unknown location is nowhere. That is also another clue of the day candidate. That for certain that's going to go up. I like that a lot. So that gives us an E there, which is not the most useful for that 5 down, but we'll come back to that last. 16 down with a W. Hotel interrupts McCartney and friends pokies profits. So windfall strikes me as a word for profits, but I don't think that's right, because hotel interrupting is going to be an H in there. H for hotel in the phonetic alphabet. McCartney, Paul, but I don't see that happening. And friends, wow. There's a lot of words in this clue that don't seem to act as indicator words. McCartney and friend is going to be the band, but that would be Beetle Pokey's profit. I feel like it is windfall. No. That's a very unusual clue. It's probably straightforward, but McCartney and friends. I mean, if it's not the Beatles, is there some other famous McCartney? Pokey's. It feels like Pokey's profits would. Profits. What about winning? Winnings is Pokey's profits. Okay. So hotel is in, INN, interrupting McCartney and friends, wings. I don't know what that refers to. Maybe another band? Excuse my ignorance on that. 20 across, but it will be winnings because Pokey's profits surely. 20 across, this will help us to confirm. Key to Subaru, well, it's got in it as well, so it can't be wrong surely. 20 across, key to Subaru initially, found in aisle 10 perhaps. So the Subaru initially with the S, inside aisle 10 as an anagram, and the word is key. essential. Again, a kind of part of speech problem. Key looking like a noun there, but actually, well, I guess essential can be a noun as well, but I'd see it more as an adjective. So there we go, 17 down. Expand general strike. General strike. Oh. For some reason I thought this was a 6-letter answer, so I thought it wasn't an anagram, but it is an anagram, 7 letters, general being rearranged. 21 across, down rather. Extremely interesting toilets in these indigenous dwellings. It looks like igloos. So interesting in the extreme letters is ing. Toilets are loos and igloos are indigenous dwellings. 23. Slacker lied about beginning resume. So this will be idler. It's a lot easier when you've got almost all the letters. So a slacker is an idler. Lied about is lied being rearranged, and the beginning letter of resume is R. Again, strictly speaking, some would bristle at this beginning resume because it doesn't say beginning of resume. I'm a bit on the fence about that convention, to be honest. I think there's a lot of opportunities in English to use this kind of setup, and I think it's not really a slippery slope if you just accept this as a convention, but it's definitely for many not kosher. 25 across. I say that, but and more or less universally in Australian crossword setting, that this idea of allowing that kind of thing is how things go. Even someone like DA, probably I would imagine the best known crossword setter in Australia, regularly uses that kind of construction. So it's not outright terrible, but in some places they would frown upon it. 25. The French and Great Britain with single piece of skeleton. So leg bone looks like what it is. The French is the word le in French. Great Britain is GB, and single is 1, and a piece of a skeleton is a leg bone. So we come to this 5 down with the U being the helpful letter. But when I first looked at it, I couldn't crawl to bury outside a prison base. A prison base, I think, is going to be the base letter of prison, N, and the letter A, and they're going to go there. And then that is we're going to need a word for bury that goes around the outside. And the whole thing means crawl. Inhumane. And then I meant to stop before that final letter because my software just crosses everything out as incorrect, apart from, as you can see, this X, because when I put this into the software, I just put X's for all the letters since I don't know the actual answers. So inhumane was inhume. So inhume is to bury. I'm not sure if I knew that word. I knew the word exhume, and I certainly haven't seen, I don't think I've seen inhume come up as a synonym for bury in cryptics. As I said, bury almost always is used to either as an indicator to say that you're burying something inside something else, or as a synonym for the word inter. But inhume is nice, that's a nice word, and inhumane giving us cruel to round out the puzzle. So beautiful stuff. I really enjoyed that. A couple of really excellent clues of the day candidates, so you'll be seeing those coming up, no doubt. You guys got the scoop on that, so well done to you. Thanks so much for being with me. I'm going to be back again soon with more. So if you'd be interested in seeing more of this, do feel free to subscribe. It's always fun to see a new subscriber pop up on the channel. Thanks again, and I'll see you all again soon.